But I find interesting some of the points made about de-radicalization. It doesn't matter whether it's Army, Navy, Air Force, it's all armed forces. Given our experience in the past where some Boko Haram people who were captured, and to use the word of the chief of, I believe, Army staff, who talk about people who have committed heinous crime, be reintegrated. Not a few people wonder how you can describe, on the one hand, somebody, a heinous criminal who has killed and maimed children and women, that you can reintegrate him into the larger society. And many have argued that some of those people in the process take advantage to familiarize themselves with the new environment and go back to what they have been doing, which then defeat the entire effort that you have put in apprehending them in the first instance. So this whole concept of de-radicalization is an issue for me. And Mr. President, you just took it from my lips, sir, that I think the Navy has a good role to play. From all that I've heard from people who know you, I understand you can fairly be described as a no-nonsense officer. And therefore, the Navy will be under your command in very good hands. I am clear about that. But what will you do to ensure that these leakages that we still experience in oil bunkering, our president has rightly asked this question, because there are a lot of mixture now between Navy and other non-state actors involved in protection of our oil wells. And then lastly, the issue of, recently we had proposal for setting up of a marine guide. And the House was divided whether we need to have another outfit specifically devoted to water security in addition to the Navy, or whether is it not better to re-equip the Navy and strengthen it so that we have the capacity to further reinforce what it's already doing to protect Nigeria waters across the country.
From Benue to Lokoja, this area or areas constitute part of the inland waterways, and which is why, as a representative of one of these areas, I have been in communication with the Office of the Chief of Naval Staff on the need to establish a naval base in between Benue and Lokoja, which should fall in between, in Umasha or somewhere before the river Niger, in between Benue and river Niger. Mr. Nominee, I feel very strong about what I am saying, which is, of course, to add the needed and required value to the security structure and efforts being put in place by the armed forces.
Already we have existing structures towards curbing maritime crimes. What we shall do is to look at what is currently existing, and what I intend to do is to further incorporate more of technology, that is the use of drones. We already have what we are doing. We are going on patrols. At times, some of these patrols don't really yield positive results because of the nature of some of the locations. Aside from that, resources are being wasted in fueling some of these boats to get to where these criminalities are happening but cannot proceed further. So what I intend to put in place to further enhance what we are doing now is the use of technology, and that is drone. That is what I intend to put in place. The answer to distinguished Senator Wadada, sir, your question borders on giving attention to the inland waterways, and your concern is the window between Benue and Lokoja. And so I think the answer to this, we have a solution already. We have established a special operations command with headquarters in Benue State, Makurdi, sir. So this is going to be used to challenge that, sir. Thank you, sir. Then, sir, to distinguish Senator Oshomole's questions, there are 3 questions here. I will start with the last one, and that is the issue of Coast Guard, whether there is any need for it. Sir, categorically, I would say we don't need that, because the Nigerian Navy is already doing that with what we have. One of our roles is Coast Guard duties, which is what we are doing. Creating another agency to do that work, it would be a duplication of function. Rather, I would advise that even if it is half of the funds that are going to be used to establish the Coast Guard, it can be used to enhance the platform availability of the Nigerian Navy. So, sir, my take is we don't need to have any Coast Guard. We are already doing that job. Thank you, sir. Then leakages caused by oil theft and illegal bunkering. Sir, we are aware of this, and like I said, most of where these illegalities are happening are hard to reach areas. And I can say those are minimal thefts, but which, if accumulated, amount to a large volume. At least out at sea, we are able to block the usage of large oil tankers, which hitherto were usually anchored at high sea, and smaller vessels are used to fuel them with the stolen cargo. So we are looking at this also. The use of this same drone technology and other technologies will help us block this more. Then, sir, the first question, the issue of de-radicalization. I totally agree with the Chief of Army Staff nominee's opinion. De-radicalizing the repentant criminals is a good way forward, but what of the moral burden? These are people that have killed, have maimed, and been integrated back into the society, to my mind, may remind relatives and family members of those that they have maimed to think in another direction. Those are, to my own opinion, the radicalization of repentant criminals will be looked into and tweaked. And if I may advise, before such is done, if families have been identified that have lost their members through those people, there is need to contact them, talk with them, if they accept for those people to be granted that amnesty after the radicalization. Then to the first question by distinguished Senator Dafinone concerns what plans do I have for the Navy in view of the emerging challenges and with relation to other services. Sir, we already have our total spectrum maritime strategy, which covers various areas of our operations. So we are looking at that, and one of the challenges even that we are faced with now is that of kidnapping, banditry, oil theft. So the total spectrum maritime strategy of the Nigerian Navy takes care of these various layers of challenges. And my belief is we cannot do it alone, and hence we have to work together. It is a whole of society approach, and particularly for us, the armed forces, we have to synergize, whether we like it or not. That is the only way out that we can get out of the problems our country is facing.